The iPhone 8 is starting to outsell the iPhone 10, but if you've been watching this channel for a good amount of time, you know I'm not surprised.
Get daily tech news in a way that doesn't suck. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Front Page Tech, of course, the show that gives you all the latest tech news from one geek. That is me to another, that is you. Happy Friday. Big show to jump into today, but real quick, just a heads up, tomorrow our podcast Recycle Bin is back, and this week we're joined by special guest Drew from Tailosive Tech. Of course, as always, the show will be posted for all of you after the fact, but if you missed the live stream, then you missed the pre and the post show, which are known to get a little crazy. Again, that's tomorrow, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when the live stream is happening. Be there or be square. Okay, so story numero uno. Let's first talk about Samsung. Turns out for the next flagship device after the Note 9, the Samsung Galaxy S10 that we're all super excited for, we're not just getting two versions of the device, we're getting three. Trace, is that Spanish? For this many amount. So according to Korean business site The Bell, they're reporting that internally, Samsung is developing three different options for the Galaxy S10. Again, internally, they are codenamed Beyond 0, Beyond 1, and Beyond 2. Of course, with the Beyond 1 and the Beyond 2, those are the Galaxy S10 and the Galaxy S10 Plus, as we're used to seeing from Samsung. But Beyond 0 is reportedly a mini version of the flagship phone. Not only is it the mini version, but also like an entry-level version. That one won't actually have an in-display fingerprint sensor like the Galaxy S10 and Galaxy S10 Plus. Instead, the fingerprint sensor scanner, Instead, the fingerprint scanner is going to be on the right side, normally, I guess, where you would rest your thumb. So I gotta say, I think it's pretty interesting that Samsung would launch an entry-level device along with the other S10 models. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Is this supposed to compete with, like, the iPhone 9, or is it just cool to have another price point for the S10, even though, obviously, some things are going to be different? You let me know. So this one's a bit of a smaller story, but it has to do with Twitter, their API, and third-party apps. So if you do use a third-party Twitter app, listen up. Twitter has already started to implement limitations when it comes to third-party Twitter clients. That's been happening already. But soon, we're looking at an even more aggressive approach from Twitter, trying to totally eliminate third-party clients. For example, today, Twitterrific lost its push notification support and live updated tweets. Now, to clarify, right now, they still have access to that stuff within the Twitter API, but Twitterrific is eliminating them now to sort of prepare for the eventual purge of all this stuff. August 16th, that is the day where Twitter shuts down the old API. So that's just a heads up. If you do use third-party Twitter apps, you might want to consider just trying to use the native Twitter app. I know it's not the best, but in terms of features, you're going to get a lot more with the native Twitter app because Twitter is kicking third-party apps straight in the dick. Okay, so now let's talk about the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10. This is not the first time that this has happened, but it's now becoming more and more frequent that the iPhone 8 is actually the iPhone that's topping the bestseller list. Still an iPhone, still at the top, but the iPhone 8. To be clear, back in April, Apple did lose that number one spot and they lost it to Samsung. According to smartphone sales from that month, the number one spot belonged to the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, and the number two spot, the Samsung Galaxy S9. But now Apple is regaining its spot with the iPhone 8 at number one, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus at number two, and then the iPhone 10 at number 3. Now listen, this is interesting because in terms of the race, right, the sprint is over. It happened. The hardcore Apple fans made sure to hurry up and buy the iPhone 10 in the first few months of its launch. And that's normal. But the average consumer, the majority of people buy their phones when it's convenient to them, which obviously happens over time. The iPhone 10 has collectively made more money because of its higher price, but over time the iPhone 8 is really starting to outsell the iPhone 10 in terms of pure units. This destroys claims like the Apple consumer has different standards than average consumers and they're willing to spend however much is needed for the most expensive model with the most amazing features. Talos of Tech, and of course the claim that Apple customers don't want cheaper phones. Yeah, well, turns out they do. Especially when the flagship model is nearly $1,200. I keep trying to tell you guys, right, that the Apple customer is not some sort of special snowflake with special needs. The Apple consumer is, in fact, the average consumer. After the hype dies down and the few thousand people line up in front of Apple stores during launch, it's the average consumer that continues to buy these products throughout the year. And listen, this is a good thing, right? This is a good thing. This was a wake-up call for Apple. If I was wrong about this, if I was wrong in saying that Apple customers want cheaper iPhones, then Apple certainly wouldn't be looking to lower these prices for the iPhones this year, would they? As reported, the iPhone X Plus will start around $1,000. The follow-up 5.8-inch iPhone X will be around $900. Obviously, that's cheaper than the launch of the previous iPhone X. And the 6.1-inch LCD iPhone 9 will sit around $700. These prices are way more realistic and less jarring for the average consumer. The evidence is there that Apple wants and is preparing for the iPhone 9 to succeed. It looks like the new models, it's going to come in some fun new colors, it's at a really accessible price, and it's the perfect size. Right in between the iPhone X and the iPhone X Plus. And also, yesterday, an anonymous source that represents OtterBox reached out to us and let us know some interesting facts. According to our source, OtterBox, as well as other brands, are preparing to distribute more cases for that LCD iPhone 9 than any other models. They said, we expect the majority of sales to be with the LCD models of the new iPhones, mainly because of the expected better price than the iPhone X and because of the size, 6.1 inch. So if you normally buy 5,000 units of a case, we would suggest you almost double up on that. At least add 4K to that SKU selection. Apple has some other surprises for that model, but we can't say much. And listen, guys, OtterBox is a major brand. There are major companies with a lot of money on the line that are also preparing for the iPhone 9 to outsell. It's rather interesting, wouldn't you say? Literally, every day there's more and more evidence leaning and pointing towards my favor when I keep telling you that the iPhone 9 is likely going to outsell the other models. Listen, bottom line, I actually know more than I'm able to tell you right now. So just trust in Jern.
And now, today's sponsor.
In a land where premium content packages will be the norm and ISPs can control the very websites you see, VPNs are an invaluable tool to preserve what's left of our sweet internet freedom, especially Freedom VPN by FSecure. Freedom VPN gives you all the tools that you need to browse the internet with confidence, knowing that those pesky ISPs won't stop you from having an unfiltered and unthrottled experience. Freedom VPN scans literally every website you visit, keeping harmful threats away, and their intuitive user interface lets you control everything with a single button. And trust us, you can feel safe knowing that you're in good hands with FSecure. They've been defending tens of millions of users around the globe from digital threats for over 25 years. That's more years than I've even been alive. So check out the link in the video description below. You can click that and get a free 5 days of Freedom VPN. And of course, huge thanks to FSecure for keeping us safe and supporting this community. And that is the show. Hopefully you liked it, you learned something. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you hate my stupid face, hit the dislike button. And of course, if you're new here, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow for the live stream. If you miss it, I'll be highly disappointed in you. Jim. I see you, Jim. I'm disappointed in you, Jim. Okay. Bye.